Want to watch Marriage Story?
Yeah.
Family law is very nuanced, and I actually think this movie captures some of that. So,
and I think Marriage Story was a very popular movie. Most people have seen it, and I think we can relate to the issues and discuss the family law topics.
Sorry, I look so schleppy. I had an event at my kid's school. Let me get this out of the way. I think you're a wonderful actress.
Thank you.
I loved All Over the Girl, but the theater stuff, too.
You saw the theater stuff?
I was in New York last year for my book, which reminded me to give you a copy. And my publisher took me.
great. We should write a book.
I could write a book.
We could write a book. Have that to hand out.
How are you doing?
Oh.
Honey.
Have you done that?
No.
So I think what's interesting about this, and it's not something that is normal, is that your client is someone who's well known, and so you come into the consultation with a bunch of information already. For us, you can do like a quick Google search, but for the most part, you actually need this meeting to be an exchange of information. And it seems like they were able to kind of skip over that a little bit.
Yeah, I think it also touches on the good point that, it's very easy to say, hi, how are you? And you forget that on the other end, there's someone going through the worst possible time in their life. So it does become emotional at times. And I think the attorney is doing a good job at comforting her.
Yeah.
It's a little, over dramatized, but yeah, that's something we do deal with on the regular.
Being represented by Nora.
She's supposedly very fair.
Here's the fact, Jack. I charge $950 an hour.
Damn.
Ted is $400. If you have a stupid question, you call Ted.
But he's not wrong, because these move-aways are so difficult, and it's the beginning of them can be massively important to how the case plays out.
Yeah, I've heard judges say move-aways are the most complicated cases in family law, the most complicated issues.
To start, we'll need a $25,000 retainer,
Oh, that's more than
And
I
all
can...
your financials, we need to do a forensic accounting.
which runs anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000.
But if we can all agree right away, it shouldn't get too bad.
Yeah, and we get, clients all the time saying, I don't want to spend a lot of money on this. I want to settle. I think we can reach an agreement. And that's great, right? But the problem is both sides have to want to settle and not spend a lot of money and not duke this out. So, it's kind of out of our control, right? It's really what the parties are the ones leading the case. If they're both reasonable and they can actually agree on things, great, we'll get you to the finish line. But if, for example, Scarlett in this movie is no, I want to go to court, I want to fight this out, then that's what's going to happen, right? We have to go to court.
You were married here in L.A.?
Yes, because her mom and sister are out here and I'm not close with my
Your
family.
son was born out here.
Yes, because again, her mom and sister are out here and...
They're putting, I think, too much focus on where they were married and where the child was born if they've lived in New York for 6 years. Do you agree?
I think they go back and forth a lot though, right?
Yeah, but we lived in New York. Why?
They're discussing a move away, right? The mom moved away without a court order and without dad's consent. So the question is, what court has jurisdiction over the child? So when there's competing jurisdictions, it's usually who was served. Where were you served first? Who was served first? So in this case, it looks like dad was served in California, meaning California gained the jurisdiction over the child.
You take Henry to New York with you right now, then we file an action in New York. We make this a New York case.
We need to make an argument you're a New York-based family.
Well, we are.
Otherwise, you'll probably never see your kid outside of L.A. again.
Really? No.
There's two types of jurisdiction. There's subject matter, which would be the child is born in LA, is here in LA, and so basically saying that California has some sort of claim on the child. Personal jurisdiction is more about Adam Driver's character. So he was in LA and he was able to be served, and so the court is going to say that it has personal jurisdiction over him.
It's very hard to convince the courts to move a kid. As soon as you let your wife and child leave New York, you made life very difficult for yourself.
But there are so many different types of attorneys, and there are so many different needs that if you're going through this, and you have one bad consultation, that is not what all of them are going to be like. But it just shows that there are a lot of different family law attorneys out there. You should find the one that works with your personality.
I think the entire nature of our job is very chameleon, right? Like, depending on what we're dealing with, what the client's dealing with, we have to present that like response, right? Like, do we want to be, yeah, let's go get him, or no, I think we need maybe take a breather, let's like think about it for a day and then we'll regroup tomorrow type of thing.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the scenario for sure, but we're very chameleon like.
Yeah, I would agree with that.